So welcome back to another episode on the channel, and today we have the Jass metallic open earbuds. Now before we really get into this review, timestamps are in the description for anyone that wants to skip to the part they want to see. We're going to go over a quick specification before I show you the earbuds themselves. So it takes about 2 hours to fully charge them from 0 to 100%. Bluetooth 5.3. They do have 12 millimeter drivers, so it's supposed to have bigger sound, but of course we're going to go through that section together. Right here, it says I have a total playtime of 10 hours, which is super mediocre. You would think that these brands would give you at least 20 to 24 hours, about 4 hours in the buds, maybe 5 hours in the buds, 20 in the case or something like that. But unfortunately, they simply don't. And this isn't going to last you a whole shift at work. This isn't going to last you a long commute if you're on a train and you're going from Philly to New York and things like that. If you're mixing phone calls along in with musical times, it's not going to be the great experience. I'm just going to let you know right off the bat, these are $8 at Five Below. So you should come at this like you're reviewing a $8 product. And that's what I'm going to try to do in this video. So, you won't accidentally buy these thinking that it's going to be higher quality. Now, what I will say is that if you look at the design, you do have the USB-C on the back of the box, of course. The only thing that comes inside of it is the instructions and the charger cable. And I don't even see the point of showing you that. But I guess since we're here, I guess I'll just do that anyway. Here's the instructions, but let me just show you the earbuds themselves. So they did actually improve the design from the last time I reviewed the other earbuds they have. And just in case you're wondering, if you fit them inside of here, it's going to lock in. So when you pop this right here, you'll feel the magnetic part and the light will come on. And that's how you know that they actually fit inside the case. And unfortunately, I don't see anything that says left or right inside this bud. I looked, I did not see it. So yeah, I guess you could just kind of you got to fiddle with them and fit it in. When it locks in, then it'll start charging because the light will come on. It's a weird how they did that. There's no symbol for right or left or anything on these buds whatsoever. But it is an improvement on the other design, though they still do feel a little bit tight. But if you notice, it's a lot more flexible than the previous one. So these shouldn't hurt nearly as much. And we'll talk about the fit and feel in a little bit also. But lastly, we do have the instruction manual right here, which just shows you the earbuds themselves, what it comes with, how to actually wear the ear clip on the bottom down here. It's just pair with the ear cuffs. It's going to be the EP0721TWS. But in the Bluetooth section of pairing, I'm going to show you the name of it again. So don't worry, you don't have to memorize that at all. And yeah, this is just basic instructions. Tells you the call functionality, how to answer calls and things like that. The touch on this isn't really good, if I'm being completely honest with you. So again, I'll leave this section right here for the person that wants to see what it does, but I'm not going to show you the actual touch controls because, I'm not that invested. But with that being said, timestamps in the description for the review, and go ahead and skip to the part that you want to see. If you want an overall consensus of how I feel about it, you can skip to the last part. But if you want to see the quality of the microphone and things like that, it will be broken down in timestamps. So look out for that. Anyway, let's get right into this review and not waste any more time. All right, so I'm going to show you how these buds fit, and I'm going to do a comparison. So I'm going to leave this one in my left ear. This is the Soundcore Liberty Soundcore Aerial clips, and I want to put this one inside. It's right here, the Jass clips. Actually kind of tight. Now they do fit a whole lot better than the previous model, as you can see, where I don't feel any soreness whatsoever. Granted, it's not that much wiggle room, so for people that have bigger ears, I'm not going to really suggest this earbud for you because it's probably going to feel tight on your ear. But if you have smaller ears, like my wife has really small ears, she was able to wear this with maximum comfort. She said it didn't hurt at all. She didn't feel any soreness with wearing it for long periods of time. But outside of that, they did do a much better job of the design itself for this earbud. But again, this is how something of better quality is going to fit on your ear. This is how these are going to fit. And like I said before, when I'm comparing the comfortability, I don't feel like this is lackluster in that regard. So the earbud does actually fit pretty well. So if you're wondering from the previous model that Jass released, and I did a review on that, this one is a huge improvement in the fit and feel. Maybe they saw our reviews and paid attention to the quality of the design itself. Sadly, they didn't think anything of the battery life, but let's move on. This is going to be an example of how these earbuds are going to sound if you're using them for recording or just regular phone calls.
Keep in mind I am in an office building, so you might hear an echo in the background. But if you don't, again, it just doesn't do a really good job of isolating noise if you're outside speaking to other people. But it is an open ear design, and most open ears don't. The technology to actually block out background noise isn't quite there. They're getting better over time. But again, if you like how this sounds, if you think this sounds good, I'm not going to critique this until the end of the video. I'll just leave it to you, the general public, to decide if you want it or not.
So unfortunately, the music quality isn't there. The music quality is, if I'm being honest, some of the worst music quality I've ever heard in a headset. I can honestly say with all certainty that if you was to go back in the day, and for people out there, I'm showing my age right now, but for older people, you're going to understand. There used to be a store called the Lot Store, and you used to find these at malls. They used to sell like pants and clothing and just random stuff in totes that's sitting pretty high up. And it was a nice store, don't get me wrong. It was definitely different. And unfortunately, when you went to the front desk, they had their own electronics. The electronics would be so cheap. It'd be these name brands where when you take it out the box, the headphones are already falling apart and stuff. It was cheap. You could tell that it wasn't secondhand. The stuff was new, but you could definitely tell that the electronics was of the lowest order possible. And let me tell you, those headsets had better quality microphones and sounds than this one right here. This is one of the worst headphones I've ever heard when it comes to music quality. And to be honest, I reviewed the audio quality not too long ago, and I actually recorded it multiple times because I couldn't believe how bad it was. Now, to put this in perspective, I'm only comparing this to other products in the same Bass Jacks line. So understand, I'm not comparing it to Soundcores or JBLs or JLabs or anything. And I want to try to compress this part because honestly, it's just insult at this point. The music sound as if it was like, it's low, it's inaccurate. It felt like there was a bunch of plastic and other apparatuses inside the headset blocking the speaker, where it's no way that these are 12 millimeters. To be honest with you, if I knew how to open up a headset and actually see the size of the drivers and stuff, I would dare I say that it's absolute fraudulent that they said it was 12 millimeter drivers inside of this. I do not believe that. I don't know where they get their microphones from. It's impossible. There's no way in the world that this company has no idea that they're making a product that's so bad and then throwing it into the market. Like you can't. I'm convinced that there's no quality control with these objects whatsoever, and they're just pushing it out, and they just have some form of contract with the company to just push out garbage, because this is a terrible headset in terms of quality of music and in terms of just microphone quality. It's just abysmal. Like there's no reason for it. Like they actually got the fit and feel done correctly, but then you completely botched the sound quality. That's the whole purpose of the headset. This is horrible, and I'm going to make sure I put in a title, do not buy these, because unfortunately I have to start doing that for products that are just this egregiously bad, and that's all I have to say in that regard. So I try not to curse, even though all the negative thoughts rose up into my soul. And if you heard me curse properly, I don't even think you would have been offensive, because you would have been like, it's that bad, huh? Yes, it's that bad. But anyway, that is the quality of music. And that's all I can honestly say about that. Lord have mercy. Save my soul, man. So in conclusion, let's go over a little bit of specifications, and I'm going to explain to you why not to buy these for the person that decided to skip directly to this part. And I'm just going to be blunt. I'm going to be honest. And as a reviewer, I cannot lie to you, and I'm certainly not going to lie to myself. I believe that integrity is the most important thing when it comes to these videos. First of all, if we talk about the design of these earbuds, they feel a whole lot better, infinitely better than the original model that I reviewed. So kudos to that. I give you that. And that's where the case is pretty small. I don't have an issue with, putting them inside the case and taking them out. It's magnetic. They do a pretty good job of staying inside the case. So, I got to give it props in that regard. Now, the battery life is 10 hours. That's with the earbuds in the case. Truly horrible. But okay, Five Below products, below standard, I get it. Let's move forward. The microphones, when I did the microphone section, I recorded that multiple times and I did not get better quality than what I recorded. That was the microphones for these buds. And in case you're wondering, I use a Samsung recorder, right? Voice recorder. When you go into the settings of the Samsung voice recorder, it is actually an option to use the speakers of whatever Bluetooth device that's connected. And when you tap the back button, it'll let you know that it's recording with the actual earbuds rather than the phone speaker, right? And microphones. Horrible record quality. I can't believe this even made it out of a factory. You can tell that there's zero quality control at Bass Jack stations when they build this stuff. Zero quality control. And they're probably just using the same drivers for all of their products, not realizing that certain products need bigger sound, other products need smaller sound. They do not care at all. Don't get me wrong, they make some good headphones from time to time when you happen to find them, but something like this should have never made it to the market. Never made it. The music quality, oh my Lord have mercy. Straight ass, yo, straight ass. Some of the worst quality. When I put them in my ears, right? Let me tell you exactly what I did. I put in my ears for 10 seconds and turned it right off and then sat there and looked around and contemplated life. Then I said, I got to do this review. And I put them back in my ear and I went through the horrifying process of using different genres of music, even though I knew from the beginning that it wasn't going to sound good no matter what I used. And it was just abysmal quality, straight bottom of the barrel quality. They do not care about this headset. And when they made it, I cannot stress this enough to the viewers that's watching this, that made it to this part of the video. If you buy these headphones after watching this video, you deserve everything bad that happens to you for buying this headset, because it is horrible. And I'm not even saying this to compare it to sound cords or anything like that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, based on Bass Jack's products in general, this has to be in the top 5 horrible products that I have ever reviewed on this channel. And I've given some harsh criticism over the years. And those headphones that I gave harsh criticism are better than these. This is horrible. This should not be allowed to make it out of the factory. No one should have signed a contract for this product. I can't actively sit here and name something that had a worse mic and music quality off the top of my head. And I have like a channel for 3-4 years. I can't name anything that's worse than this. Even headphones that had like the defects, like the speaker might have been messed up or something, still sounded better than this. This is egregiously bad, horribly bad. This is $8 for a carton of eggs bad. This is terrible. Do not buy this headset. If you buy this and you watch this video after the fact, that's different, because you already went through the horrific experience. And there's also a possibility that I could have got a defective model, but I don't care enough to figure it out, because I can't imagine that one that may or may not be defective is still better than this. It's horrible. Even the last model was horrible. It felt like someone was twisting your ear and trying to crush your ear, the last model. No quality control. And granted, all they did was go online, Google a design, steal the design, make it for themselves, and add nothing else to it in terms of quality of microphones or drivers. This is disgusting. And like I said, I compared it to a lot store from back in the day. Those cheap dollar white buds you used to get from the Poppy store and all that stuff. Everything is better than this. And I'm not stressing that. I'm not exaggerating. This is terrible. Do not buy this. It's in the title. Anyway, like and subscribe like always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Peace.